Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest I've seen at the Tampa Pro Show a couple years in a row. This year, he finally got a really good look, which I thought he deserved the past couple of years. He was fourth place in the Open. Please welcome Phil Clahar. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Rod? How's it going?
Good, good. You're a big ruckus going on there. Someone moving stuff around. Yeah. Like I said, I've seen you the past 2 years there, and I always wondered, why isn't this guy getting a better look? He's got everything. He's got the size, the condition, the shape. I don't see any weak body parts on you. Just big, full, thick, round, dense. But this year, I think you set yourself apart with the condition. You brought a much grainier, tighter look, and I think that's why you finally got the recognition from the judges. But first of all, tell me a little bit about yourself, because like I said, I've known you the past couple of years just from that show, basically, but knew nothing about you other than that you're from Land O'Lakes, Florida, which I think it was a margarine. Was that Land O'Lakes margarine? Was that back in the day? Was a big
I have no idea, but I really hate when they say that. I'd rather they say Tampa from Tampa.
Tampa.
Yeah, because it just sounds much more powerful saying from Tampa. But yeah, I'm from Land O'Lakes. It's a city within Tampa.
Okay. So tell me about your athletic background. Were you into other sports before bodybuilding?
Oh man, yeah, I was into a lot of different things. I started wrestling in high school, but before I did that, I had a dad. My dad was a professional boxer in Jamaica.
Oh wow!
He came to when he brought me to the United States when I was 3. As I got older, he was basically force feeding me boxing. I was very good. I was able to go into the Golden Gloves, but you know when you're being forced to do something and you're just not really into it. After a while, he let go, and I went for my passion in wrestling. And, you know, I started wrestling. I was a very hard-killed kid to deal with in middle school. I was very bad. Mom and dad was separated, so it was just my mom with 7 girls. So,
wait a minute. You have 7 sisters?
Yeah, I have 7 sisters.
Good Lord. Oh, my goodness. And you're the only boy?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. What a household that must have been. Okay.
Oh, man. It was crazy. But
hang on. I bet you know women better than most men, though.
Oh, I tell you what, I'm already coaching my grandson already.
When we hang up, I want some tips from you. But go ahead. So yeah, tell me more. Middle school, you were a hard kid to deal with.
I was very, very tough to deal with. I was always in a lot of trouble. My mom was always called. And my mom is old school, so she'll whip me right in school. She really didn't care, you know. So I got a mentor, which was Mr. Furtek. He was actually the track coach. And he came up to me and said, Phil, listen, you need to find something you could take out your aggression doing. You know, I was like, what is that? He said, wrestle. I said, oh, man, I'm not wrestling. I'm not wrestling with guys and get behind them and all that crazy stuff. I'm not doing that, you know. So I tried it, and I won my first match. And I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. And it just took off from there. I just had a God-given genetics. My mom didn't have the money for wrestling camps like all the other top wrestlers did. And I ended up beating top-level state champions, you know, and I moved on to college. I went to actually Gloucester County. I had a scholarship to Norfolk State, but I wanted to stay close to my mom, you know, that she's my rock. Yeah. So I stayed close to my mom and went to Gloucester County, and we wrestled top-level colleges, and I placed first year 10th in the nation in wrestling. Then I ended up having kids, and I had a son actually before I started college. Then I had a daughter, so I had to start working. So I had to leave college early. I was going for law enforcement. I was going to be a state trooper.
Oh, okay.
Then after that, I just decided to bodybuild. Everybody kept coming to me saying, do you bodybuild? I said, no, I just been lifting since I was 13. I love the sport. You know, I just look at all these, you know, Ronnie Coleman, Lee Haney. Lee Haney was probably one of my first bodybuilders with his physique that I was drawn to. Yeah. So I started training, and then I was in New Jersey at the time, and I entered the Gold Classic in Toms River, New Jersey.
So that was your first show?
That was my first show in 1999.
Wow. Okay. So what was the experience like? Did you prep yourself for that?
Yeah, it was me and my buddies, some close friends, and you know, I basically followed. One of them had a coach, so I just followed what he did. You know what I mean? And I took second, and I'm gonna tell you why I took second. I had no idea a black man had to put on protein.
Well, I mean, depends on your skin tone. Some black men don't need protein.
Right, but I'm a light colored guy. So when I stepped underneath the lights, I was even lighter. So, the judge came up to me and said, "You might want to put on Protan for the night show," and I looked a whole lot different. So I just took off from there and I went to Pennsylvania. I won that show, the overall. And then I decided, when I met my wife, I decided to, she's like, "You need to come to Florida. That's where it's happening. If you want your bodybuilding to take off, come to Florida." So I said, "Florida ain't better than Jersey. Man, they can't handle us up here, So I came, and then, of course, I hooked up with Tim Gardner, and it just took off from there.
Yeah. So, and your journey to the pro card was not an easy one. I know you went into some difficulty. We talked right before we started recording, because you were born in Jamaica. You weren't. When did you get your citizenship much later?
No, I'm a permanent resident.
Okay.
Everybody keep asking me why I don't do it. I want to do it, but then I don't. But I'm legal to be here for right now. I'm okay with that. The problem was, I just knew I had what it takes. In 2008 and 9, I mean, I was young, but man, I was ready to go. And I firmly believe if everything would have worked out, I probably would have at least won Mr. Olympia by now. But, I can't dwell on the past. There's a reason why it went that way. I think I had a lot of maturing to do on my personal side. I think that if I did take off back then, I think I would have went down a different road. You know what I mean? Once money and sponsorship comes involved, I wasn't completely 100% embedded, I still had issues in my life and in my marriage. So it would have just tore us apart. Yeah. So I think that the way that it went now, God is good. The way it went now I'm happy because I'm much more settle-minded now and more focused. And I think I'm more driven for bodybuilding now than I was when I was younger.
So your pro attempt was was this the first time you did the 2009 Caribbean Central American Championships? Was that the first time? So you won the supers, but apparently you got to win back then it was hard. It was still harder back then. There's a lot more avenues to turn pro now, obviously, but at that time you still had only the overall champion, the overall winner got the pro card, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So, were you were disheartened because I see a big gap in your competitive career where you didn't start?
I was definitely shook because back then, I didn't have a business. I was just starting my personal training business, just getting it up off the ground. So, money really wasn't there. So my brother-in-law made it possible. He paid for our tickets just to make it down there. And the sad part about it is, I went to represent Jamaica, and it's sad because Jamaica got me there, but they didn't get a hotel room for me. Oh, no. So I was going to end up sleeping outside on the beach. And the promoter, he came up to me and he said, "Listen, I'm going to pay for your room, and we're going to take care of you. We don't know why Jamaica did this, but we're going to take care of you." So my wife ended up being the head of the Jamaican consulate.
What?
Yeah, because the meeting, you have to have somebody from Jamaica. So she had to represent Jamaica in the meeting for Jamaica. So that was a rough road. And then when I lost, the only guy I thought could have beat me was the kid from Puerto Rico. The kid from Puerto Rico was pretty nasty. He was pretty nasty. But I did beat him. But when it came to overall, what are you going to do? I know when you go to other places, in their mind is they know you're from the States. And they know you're coming there for one reason. So sometimes they could be a little shaky about that.
Yeah, I mean, the federation split in 2017. And I'm not going to throw shade or anything, but there were a lot of instances over the years, especially at international competitions, where some of the judging was very, very suspicious, put it that way. Right. So this most likely was the situation at that particular show. So you didn't compete again for 8 years. Did in that whole time, were you wanting to compete again, or were you burnt out on it?
I was never burnt out. Even this year, I'm going. I'm hoping I'm hoping the New York Pro do happen somewhere, somehow. But right now, I'm focused on Chicago. I would never get burnt out. I believe in being hungry. And I think that any bodybuilder that stays hungry and don't let the hype get to them, people can tell me how great I look. I appreciate it, but it doesn't sink into me. I'm going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Even when I get a victory, I'm going to keep pushing until as long as this body holds up, I'm going to push. So, back then, yes, I got discouraged. I was young. I said every avenue I was taking, it wasn't happening. And Tim was basically my backbone because I would reach out to him. And he's the one that made it possible for me to get to these places. And, when I came back, I said, Tim, I need one more shot. And then, he made a phone call for me, and there it was. We just took off from there.
So you were coached for a while, and he coached your pro card by a guy we're familiar with as one of the best backs in bodybuilding,
Yeah.
Joel Stubbs from the Bahamas. And the funny thing is,
Yes.
I went to the Caribbean show twice, and I can't remember which one. I want to say the first year I went was in Kingston, Jamaica. Second year was El Salvador, but I think Joe got his pro card at the one I went to in Kingston. And even then I was like, damn, this guy's gonna go. This guy's gonna blow up. He's awesome. So how did you end up working with Joel?
Well, I competed with his guy. What show was that?
It's probably the Caribbean.
It was a Caribbean, but I'm trying to figure out Aruba. It was in Aruba. So, he saw me in the airport because, at the time, Patty's basically my coach and everything else. She's making sure I'm carbing up and making sure she's looking at me, make sure everything's okay. So Joe saw me in the airport because this is what he told me after the fact. And he called his super heavyweight. He said, "Boy, we in trouble.
Stay home.
Yeah.
Don't go to the airport."
So when we got there, I saw him and his structure. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jamil is structured very well, very, very well. We battled. And, of course, the crowd, they start booing. Of course, they believe I should have won. But this is neither here or there. I still give Jamil his respect and so forth and so on. So after the show, we saw Joe at the airport. And my wife is a go-getter, man. She's from New York. So she's like, "Why don't you go talk to him?" I said, "No, I'm not going to talk to him." She said, "Phil." So she goes up to him.
Yeah, of course.
Started a conversation. And then he came up to me and he said, "Hey, give me a call. And we'll talk about everything and we'll work it out." And I was shocked. I called him, he picked up, And he said, I'm going to help you get your pro card. And I kept insisting. He just wouldn't take anything from me. He said, you have everything it takes and you have all the tools. And he did it. He brought me in really, really crisp and shredded condition. I don't even think it was close in Toronto. That's what they said. It just wasn't close. And, we got the pro card.
Yeah. So that was the Ben Weider Cup in 2017. So that's, I guess, the first Tampa 2018. Was that your pro debut, the first pro show?
Yeah.
Yeah. You look great, man. I just think you didn't get a look. The show was smaller this year. And I think that helped too, just because when you have all these guys that look great, it's hard these judges have a hard time. I have a hard time trying to keep up. Like, wow, that, your eyes drawn all over the place. But Tampa 14th pro debut. Then you moved up to 9th last year, 11th in Toronto. And this year, you've always been, was your state, you were a lot leaner in my eyes this year. Was your body weight different? Because you told me you were 255. And I think in my wrap up, when I was talking to Big Mike Cox, I said, he's got to be like 275, 280. He's got to be. Because I know you're tall, you're 6 foot, and you carry a lot of muscle. You must have, your bones must not weigh anything. That's my only guess. Because, man, I seriously have you at 275, 280.
That's what I was gunning for. But to come in with that dry, that dry, grainy look with the water that was pulled out, when I stepped on the scale, it was 255, but the muscle was just there. It's the illusion, that gave that size. That was my goal to come in, but then my mentality is it's not about the weight. It's about what you look like. So I'm one of those guys that'll get caught up with how much I weigh and trying to be the biggest guy. I basically want to be the most harder, grainy, and dry. Dry is key because if you notice, I don't sweat on stage. So I try to come in as dry as possible so I don't sweat when I can pose all day.
Wow.
I'm getting to go,
Do you spend a lot of time practicing your posing?
I spend a lot of time practicing. Yes, I do. I just hooked up with Melvin Anthony.
Really?
So he's going to be helping me get ready for the Chicago. So we already been in talks. He's already critiquing. He's an awesome dude. We spent on the phone about an hour yesterday, and I just sent him my music. So we're going to put together a game plan and get this done. So I could come in with a much more better presentation.
Wow. Is Melvin down in Florida now?
California.
California, okay. Yeah, I'm just curious. Did you weigh more? Were you heavier at the past two Tampa pros that I saw you at?
I was 250 the year before.
Wow,
I
seriously,
was
what
I
an
was
illusion.
240 something the first year at the Tampa, 245.
I don't believe it. You need a new scale. You've got to
Yeah,
weigh more than that.
the scale could be. You're right. The scale could be wrong, but it's crazy because when I went to the night show, because I was told I was a little flat in the morning. If I would have been brought in the physique I brought in at night, it probably would have been a whole different story. And I struggle with that. I did that last year too. I came in flat in the morning and better at night. So we got to put together a game plan to fix this. But I also lost 3 pounds after eating a burger and fries laying in bed.
How's that even? I've heard that happens, but that doesn't make any sense, right?
It doesn't make any sense, but I just think I'm blessed with really good genetics because, my metabolism is great. I mean, I don't have issues with dropping body fat and doing crazy things to make body fat come off. So,
Yeah. Like, how lean do you like to stay in the off season?
I try to stay pretty lean, but I think from now on, I'm going to stay much tighter because in the off season I have my meal prep. But I venture off. I mean, if the family's going out or I'm at work, they got cookies, I'm going to eat it. But I'm so Ron, I'm so focused now more than anything that now I'm taking things much more seriously. So even after this year is done, we're gonna keep a tight package and put on quality muscle and just not get out of hand with the weight.
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember. Were you in the first call out, or did they not get you to the second one in judging?
I think the way they did it, it was still the first call out because they only called out four or five, I think.
Yeah, I
Four
remember
or
you
five.
weren't. Yeah, you weren't in the first call out because it was Ronald
Right.
Gordon, and me and Mike were saying, "Why isn't Phil in this call out?" We were getting really upset, and you actually, I said, no, it's nothing against Ronald. He's got a great name, Ronald. No, great. He's got an awesome structure, beautiful physique on that guy. But I said, this guy, shape, structure, but he's just massive and dry. He should be ahead of Ronald. And ultimately, that's the way it went down. Probably because you looked a little better at the night show too. But I think
You know what? Yeah, and I was honestly, I'm gonna tell you what, man. I respect so much the IFBB judges. They've pushed me. Even Steve Weinberger, even though he wasn't there this year, but even last year. And I watch videos on Steve. I mean, man, this guy is strict,
yes.
So I said, what I got to do is I got to come in there dry and hard. And I know I could be better than last year because my face was way tighter this year than it was last year. So that's my game plan. I mean, I'm keeping the structure, you know what I mean, and just coming in dry, grainy, and keep bringing the conditioning. I think I'll be better for the next show that's coming.
Yeah. Did it give you a little more confidence to finally get a good look and get a good placing at a show this time?
Yes.
Yeah.
When they called me out with Labrada, Ian,
Yeah. Come on now.
and the other Jamaican, I can't remember his name. I was stoked. I was bringing it too when we were in pose down, and I know that's what bumped me up into the fourth place. Even though a judge did vote for me for third, I was just bringing it. I mean, if the judges give me an opportunity, I will bring what I need to bring.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that guy was Jamaican. The third place guy, was it Kevin?
Yeah, he's from Jamaica. He lives in Miami though.
Huh. What was that? Oh, Derek. Yeah. Now I'm concerned because I don't remember his name. Open. My boy Philip, Ronald, Hunter, Ian, Dwayne.
Wayne, that's
Dwayne.
it.
Oh, he's Jamaican too.
Yeah.
As is Mr. Olympia Sean Roden. Yeah.
There you go.
Great.
Jamaica's in the house, man.
Caribbean's got some awesome genetics for anyone that's ever
Yes.
followed the
Yeah.
sport down there. Let's talk about your business, structuredfitnessinc.com,
Yes.
with locations in Wesley Chapel, Land O'Lakes, and Lutz, Florida. So what kind of business is it? When did you start it? What's it all about?
I started it when I moved up here in 2008. I started with one client. It was a plastic surgeon for my wife.
Okay.
He trained about 7 days a week. So financially, having just that one guy, the money he was spending was great.
Cool.
Dr. Smith is an awesome guy, awesome guy. Then I decided to legalize it because I was sneaking in gyms training people at the time, you know. Then, you know, I signed up with the state and legalized everything. And then what I did was I was renting space, which I still am, in Anytime Fitness.
Okay.
So I've been doing that for years, but I'm so lucky. I'm down the street now, which is not even 4 miles from the gym that I rent space out of. Jonathan Carl, great owner, great guy, gave me the opportunity to run my business there. So I just pay rent and I just run my business there.
Right on. I mean, so typically, like, are you in the gym all day training clients, or is it spread out?
It's spread out. What I do is I have a morning shift, and then after I'm done about 11:30, 12 o'clock, I train. I get to come home for several hours, and I go back at 5, and I'm out of there probably by 8 o'clock.
Cool. Phil, with the mass that you carry, people want to know about your training. What kind of training style do you practice, and what are some of the top lifts? You look like a man that can move some weight.
You're going to be shocked.
You bench press 135.
You're going to be very, very, very shocked. My philosophy, now when I was younger, granted, I mean, I'll go to a squat rack. I don't even warm up. I just go to a squat rack, put 315 on and go at it. But I started getting smarter. The thing about bodybuilding is it's quality over quantity. That's my firm belief. And if you want to succeed and be successful as a bodybuilder and not get injured, you have to train smart. And that's why I respect Dexter Jackson and his longevity, because I praise, he says the same thing. You got to listen to your body and know when to do what you need to do. I'll push some weight sometimes. I'm about a lot of high volume, 15, 20 reps, really focusing on the muscle. And there's times I'll throw 315, 405 on the bench and go at it. But when I'm prepping for a show, no.
Yeah. Well,
I keep it very safe and simple.
I'm in full agreement with you. I think there's a lot of people that they get their minds warped by like watching old Ronnie Coleman videos or something, and they think you have to squat 800, you have to deadlift 800, or else you're not a real bodybuilder. But guys like Phil Heath, Dexter, they prove you don't need to be a world's strongest man or a powerlifting champion. This is bodybuilding is not about. It's time under tension. It's volume. There's a lot of ways to build muscle, and you want to last a long time in this game, you probably don't want to be deadlifting 800 or squatting 800, ripping pecs and popping out discs in your back. And
that's not going to happen. I put my faith in the food. I eat and rest. Everything really, to me, like I preach to my clients and my clients that compete and my regular clients that just live a normal life, I said nutrition and rest is the key. When we come in the gym, we're tearing muscle fibers down. The gym is, to me, hurting you, but it's still doing some good for you. But it's all about the nutrition and rest. As long as those things are on board, you're good. So that's why I structure my clients around my training so I could come home and now take a 2-hour nap before I go back to the gym. So I just structure everything, and I just rely on my nutrition, and I put the work in the gym. I mean, I don't have to lift heavy, but I put the work in the gym, and everything that I train, I have a vision of how I want my body to look. So I rather work on structure more than size. The size is just coming naturally, to tell you the truth.
Cool. Yeah. What's your off? What do you get up to in the off season? Body weight?
About 305.
305. Okay. I was gonna guess 300. I wasn't off by much. Do you have time for any hobbies aside from all this stuff, or no?
No. What I like about the off season is I get, me and my wife gets to do the date night. We go to the movies. I'm a family man, so I don't work on weekends. I spend time with my wife and my grandkids. I'm just big on, family comes first, and they put up with me with this prep. I mean, she's put up with a lot, and she's working her butt off. I mean, she preps all the food and, make sure I'm eating on time and, make sure I'm taking all my vitamins. And so she's really putting it. Without her, I wouldn't be as far as I am now, because she was one of the ones that was saying you need to go back, and I'm back.
That's why your Instagram is not Phil Clahar, it's Team Clahar. Right?
That's right.
I assume that's why you call it Team Clahar.
Right.
But how about the
That's
quarantine?
my team right there. Me and my wife, that's the team.
How long were gyms out of commission in Florida? How long were gyms shut down?
I think about 2 months. Almost about 2 months.
Yeah.
too much in a little bit. But I got my spot. I wasn't out of a gym.
No, I mean most pros figured something out, either little
Yeah.
private gym or yeah. But so it didn't really affect you because
No.
that's what I was wondering at the show, looking at all the athletes, is how many of these people were training at home, how many of them were just not prepping in the ideal situation because of gyms or whatever, mostly
I
gyms.
think a lot of them were in gyms. I mean, these guys came. Let me tell you something. These guys came in condition.
Yeah.
You know, for the show that it was, they came in condition, and a lot of them I spoke to them. They started dieting around the time I did. I started in February. I think one guy started in January. But I really, honestly, believe it or not, this whole situation actually benefited me because I actually grew more within the prep. It's crazy because the gym I was training at, I'm gonna keep it unknown. The gentleman was at the show, and he said, "My God, you look totally different than what we saw when you were at the gym." You know, they couldn't believe it. So I thank goodness for the gentleman that made it possible for me to have a gym to work out in, me and my wife and my brother-in-law. But I'm happy, even though there's a lot of negatives going on. It actually really benefited me to bring in muscle. I grew into the show with the more time I had.
Were you planning on Tampa as your show, or were you
Puerto
prepping for
Rico.
something that was you were going to do Puerto Rico,
Yes,
which would have
that's what I
been,
was planning for first.
what was the date on that, or when it would have been?
No, but Tampa was first. Tampa was supposed to be May.
No, Puerto Rico was first. They canceled it and pushed it back. I can't remember. I know Puerto Rico was first. That was their design place to go, and then Tampa was 4 weeks after. So it was 4 weeks before the Tampa.
Okay, yeah. So it was probably very end of June, very beginning of July. I think it was somewhere in that.
Yeah, somewhere like that. And then they pushed it back, and Tampa ended up being first, and now they completely canceled it.
So what are you looking at now? You said Chicago?
I'm definitely doing Chicago. I mean, we're on the grind. I'm pushing. I'm going to push as many shows that can possibly happen this year. I'm hoping. I'm keeping my finger crossed. A miracle happens, and the New York Pro do happen somewhere. If it does,
not New York, but somewhere.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in that. We're definitely staying. We're staying within striking distance. So if that happens first, we'll jump in there. If not, Chicago. So right now, my vision is Chicago.
Yeah, because I mean, you get enough points, you're going to the Olympia. That has to be the goal, right?
It's beyond the goal. I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
I mean, anybody that can get to the Olympia this year with the situation and the shows being canceled, it's going to be quite an achievement. To say you made it to the Olympia in this craziest year the world and the sport has ever seen. We've never been through anything like this.
No,
this is nuts. Cool. So you're just going to keep prepping. Are you taking a little time off, eating what you want for a little while, or no?
No, I went back to, I'm doing a cheat meal on the weekend, Saturday. I was told I could do one cheat meal a day, but I'm hard-headed. I'm very, very hard-headed. I just believe I know my body, and right now I'm still tight, and, I'm bringing in more carbs. We're having a little bit more carbs and more fats. That's keeping me full and keeping with the energy that I need. But I don't want to bring in tons of junk. I just don't want to do that. I'm so zoned in, Ron, I couldn't even tell you. I'm so zoned in and focused. I believe that, hey, if I have to suffer and torture and go through it all, it's going to pay off at the end of the day.
Yeah. What was the one good meal you had after the show? I hope you had something really good.
Oh, man, let me tell you. Well, first of all, me and my fitness posse, we're a fitness family, we went to a restaurant. I wasn't really pleased. It was called Aqua something. It was very expensive. It wasn't good.
I think it's just called Aqua, isn't it? It's like a mile away.
Yeah. Dropped like $200 in that place, and the food was just awful. But I ended up on a Wawa, and I got a sub, 3 or 4 honey buns, Snickers. I lit it up, and then Sunday we went out to an Italian restaurant, and I couldn't even tell you, cheesesteaks, pizza. But with me, I got to be careful because my ankles will start swelling if I start pushing in too much of that, junk. So.
I didn't know about this Wawa place until the week before the show. My son was in New Jersey. He says, there's this convenience store called Wawa, and the food is like, I'm thinking, how you're eating at a convenience store? That sounds disgusting. But yeah, everyone's raving about it. Wawa, which is the Spanish word for bus, oddly enough. Yeah. Wawa. Yeah. I think it's a colloquial term. So you're going to keep going. You're going to do as many shows as you can because we got, hopefully, New York. We got Chicago. I know Boston. Was there another one too that was happening?
It was going to be the
California
California,
Pro.
but I don't know if that's going to happen either because Cali is. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just, like I said, I'm staying in striking distance, and I believe that with the go-getter attitude and the drive that I have, the determination, that's what I live by. That's what my company has. Determination plus dedication equals a great transformation. I just got to stay hungry. Like I told you, moving up, whatever the case may be, I'm going to stay hungry until my body says it's enough. And right now, I'm feeling like a Dexter Jackson. Sadly to say, I'm a little disappointed he's leaving. That guy is awesome. Dexter is a very, very crazy, sick, shredded guy. So watching him do what he do is giving me more motivation to keep pushing forward.
I mean, would you want him sticking around like past his prime when he starts slipping down? I wouldn't want to see that.
That's true. I mean, he's on top. I mean, what more does he have to gain? I mean, he's the most winningest bodybuilder in the world. I mean, there's nothing more to prove, right?
No, nobody will beat that record in our lifetime. Nobody.
No.
There's no way. Yeah. I mean, come on, guys. Well, cool. Phil, congratulations, man. I'm glad you're finally getting the recognition, finally got the attention on stage. I was like, wait, because the past couple of years of that show, I'd see you on the sidelines, like, why won't they call him out? Look at him, look at him. And finally this year, they moved
you. Got to prove yourself, man. You got to prove yourself to the IFBB and earn. And that's what I believe. In the beginning, I didn't understand it. I got upset, and there's sometimes I did show it on stage that I was pissed off. But I'm starting to understand. You just got to earn it, and they're going to make you earn it. And once you get it and you earn it, it's the limit. It's only you could destroy that from then on. So I give them the respect for. And I love the fact that it gave me the opportunity, and I hope they continue to give me the opportunity because I'm going to continue to come bigger and better every time.
Yeah, it's a common saying that if you don't like your placing, come back better next time.
Right.
Eventually, they're going to have to give you, they're going to have to give you the win, and you're doing that. You're getting better and better and better. This year, I saw a new level. The condition, everything was just on another level. You're definitely getting better and better. So keep doing what you're doing, guy. It's working. So that's it, guys. Check him out on Instagram, Team Clahar. Team Clahar. Yeah, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I said, thank you very much, brother, for taking your time and giving me the opportunity. God bless you, man, and your family. And I really, really appreciate you.
Cool. Hope to see you at all those shows. We're going to be covering New York Pro, Chicago, and Boston. As many shows as I could see you at. I hope to see you up there fighting for a top spot. Awesome.
You'll see me, brother.
Cool. Thanks for taking the time, Phil. Congratulations again.
All right.
Everybody, thanks for watching Ronline Report with this man, Phil Clahar from Tampa, Florida.
The Jamaican Tank.
The Jamaican
Tank. Phil Clahar.
Okay,
that's my nickname.
Okay. I'm glad you told me because we're going to put that on the graphics now. The Jamaican.
Yes, Jamaican Tank, Phil Clahar.
Gotcha, man. All right.
All right, buddy.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.